Where you macking? All right, we live again. I know y'all probably like, boy, they don't sleep. Listen, we got to make sure our peoples get this work. Things been going good. I see. I I've been paying attention. I gotta. I sat here for 3 hours though, so I gotta go to the restroom. So talk to the people, Chris, till I get back.
All right, we live?
Yeah, we live. I'll be right
Yeah.
back when we go to the restroom.
Okay. Another day in the market. The Feds was on the clock today, aka Mr. Jerome Powell. Topic is inflation. Inflation, asset purchases, and where's the economy going to be in the future? Unemployment, why people ain't going back to work. Are people going back to the jobs that they normally had? Or are they going into a new field of work? What about the pay differences? Those are things that were discussed at Jerome Powell's meeting today. And what we have to realize is that we are in an economic shift, a monetary shift, to where money is being played with. It's always been funneled from the poor to the rich. Now, when you get all of this type of stuff that's going on now, all the talks with inflation and asset purchases, or AKA quantitative easing, this puts, the economy at risk. Um, Job employment, wages, the Delta variant, it's just so much stuff that's going on, all the while, opening up the economy to 100%, which I don't think will max to 100% because, this COVID is not going anywhere. The Delta is here and is, kicking people's asses left and right. Now it's, the issue of, dealing with that and dealing with the Federal Reserve, money printing into oblivion to keep, the financial markets from completely crashing, and inflation is sky high. So, this is just a bunch of stuff to deal with. And, for those who are investors and traders, you always have an opportunity to, still make money because you own assets. And you don't have to deal with, you know, worrying about going to a different job, or, if you can't get a job in the field that you were previously in before COVID, before the pandemic, um, it's difficult, to take a leap in a different field, something you're not used to. And that's complicated in itself, especially with everything that's expiring, the rent moratoriums, and, unemployment is going away. So people, have to go back to work, or, stay unemployed, or whatever the situation is. A lot of people are quitting their jobs as well. So right now it's kind of like an imbalance in this economy. There's a lot of job openings, but the job openings that, you know, these different states and cities have, nobody really wants to work those jobs. It's not only that, people are just getting paid so much money in unemployment, but those jobs don't really pay that much. So why would somebody want to go back and work in those same jobs that don't really offer anything? It's when you get spoiled so much to where you making a lot more money than you were before, and then you have to go back to the same thing you previously were just to say you have a job. Well, that's not really comforting or makes you happy. It's just a simple fact like, okay, I don't want to do this no more. You know, it, especially, you working at a restaurant, you're a waiter or a waitress, you working based off mostly tips. Nobody wants to be under that type of stress, for that low minimum wage, and then tipping. So, and then, restaurants haven't really hit a peak yet to where businesses, good and booming. So nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to work for minimum wage. That's why people leaving, fast food restaurants like Burger King and McDonald's and things like that, because nobody wants shitty pay. And then, some people are still scared of COVID. When you have that type of pressure, with these jobs wanting to hire people, that is going to set some stuff off in the economy that is not good. And that puts more pressure on business owners, executive CEOs, so forth and so on. And then that puts more pressures on the government, and then the government to the Fed. And that's where we have this inflation problem and quantitative easing and money printing into oblivion, because the people do not want to take scraps anymore. They want to be paid a certain amount. And, if they can't get that when they want it, then it's going to cause some issues, which we are presently dealing with outside of the COVID variant Delta that is causing an issue. So, starting from ground zero, if you have not acquired a particular skill set or a trade to where you can take matters into your own hands, and this is not to discount anybody with jobs, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think you should depend on that, unless, you are in a particular position or you just good at what you do. And you were fine getting paid what you were getting paid before everything happened. But this is more for the people, who work jobs based off just making a check and not necessarily, pursuing it for a career or something like that. I always think you should have an extra side hustle, especially with today's prices and today's inflation. So this is why we try to come on here consistently every week. Been doing this for about 4 to 5 years of talking about, buying assets, learning how to day trade, whether it's equities, just stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency, forex, even if into real estate, and just trying to master, one of those classes to put yourself in a better position to where you can, ease off the break, at your job or your career, and have a backup plan just in case something like COVID happens again, to where you have to be out of work potentially for a year. You will have no problems paying bills, and not depending on the government to send you unemployment checks or stimulus checks to take care of the things that you need to take care of naturally, which, they're giving you your money anyway because it's taxpayers' money that they're sending back to you in the first place. So This is why we try to consistently teach, how to invest, how to trade, how to look for opportunities. Even doing, certain businesses. We just had the brother 3D on. You know, He's personal training business. If you have a skill, if you have a trade, maximize that your skill set, and do your own thing, and put your time, energy, and effort and resources into that to multiply that into a conglomerate. And that way, you don't have to worry about, a pandemic or a stimulus check or, something of that effect if something like this happens again, which, ultimately could affect your business, but you have your own business that you can fall back on that can still operate under your own power instead of Mr. Charlie's power. Mr. Charlie can say when he can shut things down and when he can open them, when you should come back to work, when he needs you, so forth and so on.
You were on it, Chris. Let's get it in. I'm sure most people, uh, in reference to that, the housing moratorium where it expires in a few days. I was telling some people,
So
I was saying,
don't
you
cut my
know,
bill, Mo.
oh my bad, I didn't. You took a power pause. I didn't know. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I think I had a call, but no, I was just saying, like, with all the issues that's been going on, we try to come on here, every week, and we have been for like what 5 or 6 years now, trying to, get people to acquire new skill sets and new trades. That way, you don't have to worry about, you know, Mr. Charlie telling you when he wants you to come back to work and, going through the issues in the job marketplace now to where people who were working at a specific job before the pandemic is now choosing a different career or considering, doing their own business because they don't want to go back to their shitty jobs because they didn't pay enough in the first place. They only worked there, to keep themselves above water. So, this skill set, investing and learn how to day trade and, find the opportunities in this marketplace to, you know, procure some income, is a good skill to have, in times like this where you got inflation, you got um, unemployment, you got the coronavirus, you got all these different things going on that, could have you in a place of, you know, contention to where you don't actually know what to do and unemployment is going away, this moratoriums is going away and you don't want to be in a position to where you stuck and be like, well, how am I gonna pay my bills? So, that's why we come on here and teach you and share information, and show you that, this is possible. You can make supplemental income, you can make primary income with this skill set if you take the time, learn it, and master it. We're not selling you no dreams or nothing like that. We don't own the stock market. So, it's just um, it's just an opportunity. And once you join the family, you'll understand that we do this together. We learn from each other. We build. We talk about these things. We stay short. We stay the path because at this certain we it's all for the times that we're in now. The moment in times of uncertainty when you got this going on, that going on, all these different viruses out here, different. They want you to take the vaccine. You don't know what to do. You don't know if you have the money for this bill, that bill, for this rent, what's going to happen when they cut it off. And you don't have to worry about that once you learn the skill set. Because the economy that we're in today, we can clearly see the issues. So we're trying to build ourselves up. That way we can handle, anything that comes our way. We don't have to depend on Mr. Charlie. You don't want to catch the coronavirus. Mr. Charlie wants you to come back to work. Listen, man, we're open. The economy's open. It's time to come back. But you ain't ready to go back. You don't trust it. Well, guess what? They're going to fire you and hire somebody else. That's why we teach business too. Learning a trade or skill set and taking that opportunity and risking putting all your resources, time, and energy into that craft and build your business. I mean, if your job security is never going to be safe, why not do it? There's been millions of people that from the time the pandemic started till now that, said to hell with their jobs and started their own business. They took all that stimulus money and put it towards, their craft or their skill. We just had a brother on. He took the opportunity and now he rocking and rolling with his personal training business. Full-fledged. When is it going to be you? When are you going to get off the bench and get in the game? Because Wall Street is open for business and the bank is open. We just going in there taking money out the bank. You saying something, Mo? Because you muted.
Be on the
I'm listening to you, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to just be ranting. I want to get into some stuff or whatever you want to get into.
No, I think what you're saying is important because for the simple fact that in my opinion, many people, there's a lot of people who receive the benefits and just stop. They just took the benefits and just stopped. Like, oh, I'm just not gonna do anything. I got this coming in. Why would I? Instead of actually capitalizing on it and either creating other streams or, maybe building up their resume so that they can go back into the workforce and be better. So in that case, they're going to put themselves in a situation come August the 1st. I have a young cousin and man, she took those call centers by storm. Like she like the best of the best hiring work from home jobs and just killing it and created her aunt. She did her company self-employed with the call centers, work from home.
Right.
I mean, just murdering the game. Cheryl, her daughter, a few people, and they, while all this stuff was going on, and whether it was unemployment or it was PPP or EIA or whatever subsidies that was being given out, she, created her business. It's like, okay, so when all of this stuff runs out, I'm still gonna be good because she built a whole new skill set. Young toddlers at home, brand new baby, 4 or 5 year old, now they 2 or 3 or something like that, right? So it's like, okay, I can do this, still sustain with my babies at home, do some homeschooling, and I can still create revenue. So she started her LLC and boom, got it popping and share the information with other people on how to. So even with the mortgage moratorium running out for rent and all that great stuff, guess what? You still will have an option to sustain because they're not going to want to hear your sob story. It's too much money that was pushed out. No more sob stories, baby. I was telling somebody that it was like, what I'm going to do? I don't know where you ain't going. You're not coming to my house. I know that for a fact because you should have capitalized while you was chilling with that unemployment, extra 600, extra 300. When they was watering it down, you should have been preparing yourself. It's almost like We just love the French benefits, but we ain't trying to put in no work. Not even trying to, you tell them, hey, you could start investing with $5, right? And you could dollar cost value your way on into that and create more, get more and save up for that rainy day, or create that emergency fund. They're looking you like you crazy because Chris is selling the latest Jordans.
Hmm.
Why would I do that, Mo, when I could look like this? Okay, well, guess what? August 1st coming.
Yeah, buddy.
August 1st is coming. And they didn't extended it too many times. And too many people had bloopers moments where they're not even really going to be interested in whether or not you can sustain. Listen, I was looking at the rent, right? How much people are paying for rent. I can't believe it. I'm not even paying that in mortgage. They're paying double what I pay in a mortgage payment. But I try to tell some folks, get your credit together because you're being robbed.
It's about to go up a little bit too. By I think they said third quarter, fourth quarter, the idea that the bond rate, I was at that point, they're looking for it to begin to materially start to kind of go back up to the upside. Of course, when we say the upside in the bond market, that means we're pushing interest rates back up, especially on the 10, the 10 year. But the 30
Hmm.
definitely is one that we kind of cycle when it comes to the to the mortgage side of the house. But those areas that the level that they are now are definitely going to change. Right, they're definitely going to change. So you're going to end up having to pay uh, or rent in an inflationary environment where, uh, housing premiums as a whole, by the time they kind of cycle through the system, we're talking maybe at, at best, maybe Q2, Q3 of 2022, when you might can have a little normalcy of the labor force getting back to work to kind of bring the cost of goods and services down because again, that's what it is, a shortage of labor. Uh, Everything is now it's kind of like on a consignment, right? A ghost written coupon or receipt. Hence, that's why inflation is kicking everybody in the butt because there's nobody really working to kind of compensate for the back end of the products and service. So the
Right.
scarcity so much is not so much that they just don't have it, that there's a premium to be able to afford it to you, right? Because it's like credit. They don't know if you're going to default or whatnot. So they can obviously, control the money, supply in essence because they got all the juice, right? And that's just how governments work. It's unfortunate because the Federal Reserve in this case, they are they are the bullets and the bandages in this case, right? We all know about the chaotic or the war theory scenario, the bullets and the bandages. They want to be on both sides of the war. They are essentially it, right? They will have a small time, day victory, but eventually they're going to lose the war. Well, who's going to end up being, the recipient of all that carnage? Well, the citizens, right? Uh, those who are having to retool themselves to go back into a workforce because their job is kind of dissipated because of COVID, right? That's what they all up in arms about. They tell them, talking about, you know, America as a whole, they have to retool themselves. Basically, you have to get re-equipped with a new trade, a new skill set, right? Uh, to kind of come back into the labor force because it's all going to be kind of, it's a whole different, environment now, right? The stay-at-home environment is here to stay. They've already pretty much made it somewhat, ubiquitous at this point. Um, just today, I'm sure y'all been seeing all the new mandates are coming down through the CDC about now. You know, they're requiring people that they've already had the vaccine. They obviously still wear masks and this, that, third. So that basically means the corporate companies gonna look at that and say, I tell you what, right? In order for us to have you back in house, you're gonna have to get the vaccine. They're finna make it mandatory in a lot of ways, right? It's already going towards that. We kind of foresaw that anyway last year a little bit. The egregious nature that they'll probably go through to push it, whether you for or you against, it doesn't matter. Is that you know people are still, when I say people, the corporate sector, they're only concerned with their bottom lines more than they really care about the people lives. Like, let's to be honest with that, right? They're just trying to protect themselves from liability issues, right? In case there is that kind of scenario. But saying all that to say this, like Open Crystal speaking about earlier about you having to find other ways to equip yourself with finance or be able to kind of make money. Having multiple streams of income coming in. Obviously, Sister Monica goes on that all the time. Like you know, you can't wait another day to get started in that endeavor. You just don't have the luxury. I would like to say, we don't have a luxury to have a luxury as Black people in America. We don't. It's hard, it's hard to me to say that, but it's just a part of, how we've kind of tried to wait out the experience of waiting to see if these people really going to do right by us. It's not going to happen. Uh, yeah, that's not how life works anyway. Of course, you don't want to have to be dependent upon the system to kind of feed you, but uh, that segues into what we're talking about as far as the show, right? Because again, there's always a real world component to what we experience as investors and traders. Not just that, but just as entrepreneurs as a whole, because you're dealing with people, right? Day to day, or product or service. Again, that's two things that rule the world: products or service. So these
Mhm.
financial vehicles, in terms of stocks, are just no more than just that. They're just an extension of a product or a service in a coupon form, right? You get a chance to now latch on to that asset through your investment dollars, right? You get to dictate how you want, when you want, how much, whatever. And based upon a thesis that you can put together and understanding what this company is about, does it has opportunity and potential? Same way when you think about, do I want to go to Popeyes? I want to go to KFC today. Well, both of them obviously sell chicken, right? One of them may have specials right now. One of them may, got a new product out or whatever. Yeah, you get my point. But that's the investment world in a lot of ways, you know. And for so much of the person say, well, it's manipulated, it's rigged, like anything else. The society of America and the corporation as a whole in itself is a project in the making that's being controlled and governed by people who have what agendas. So there's no free world reality nowhere. That's just under the rulership we're dealing with in our time. So we need not even convince ourselves that that's just not part of the modus operandi of today. Anywhere you go, there's going to be some manipulation. There's going to be some control. There's going to be all kind of whatever, right? You're just going to have to deal with that. So we don't stick our heads in sand because of that. We just adapt, and then strategize to kind of work within it or around it, right? So a lot of these stocks, again, that we're, privy to kind of come on and speak to you guys about. Of course, it's not investment advice; it's just our opinion about what we see in or around the markets. Well, again, this is a turnkey experience where you can just start like literally like yesterday, right? And you don't have to have any special requirements, education, formal education, whatever, right? You just have to have basically like we was talking about today with our brother. You have to have that discipline, right? That determination, right? To want to develop yourself, to understand that you're already a part of the market as a consumer. Why not be it on the side of the investment side of the house, right? That's where all the power is at, right? Controlling and making things happen from a board seat perspective, right? Let them do all the heavy lifting and the R&D and the M&A and the SaaS and the subscription as a services and all this. Let them do all that. You just say, okay, I'm gonna give y'all 100, right? Now I'm gonna give y'all, a couple months, 3 months, give you a quarter. Let me see how well you perform, right? Because you on a trial by fire basis. If you don't perform right, guess what? You can always get out. Right? You can buy it today and sell it tomorrow. You can buy it in a minute and turn around and sell it within the next 20, 30 seconds if your finger's fast enough, right? So that again,
Mhm.
that's that free work experience. What I'm talking about, where you're not under some kind of mandate. Because if you clock in on the job, that boss expect you to be there for the rest of the day, right? Let something happen, right? You can't say, "Oh man, I want to do a do over. I didn't mean to clock in today." Like what? What? They're like, "Well, you want what? You sure you want to work here?" Uh, so again, that's just the power of you having that freedom, and that's what we speak about a lot over here. Again, we don't fluff it up. We're not finna gas you up. We're not finna tell you no more than what it is. You're gonna take some L's in this, like the same way people take L's on the business, right? On the job. You get sick, you don't go to work, you don't get paid a salary. That means you lose that day worth of pay, right? So it's always gonna be ebb and flows and ups and downs in anything you endeavor. But one thing above all things, if you do have the discipline to want to learn, again, to be a self autodidact, as they say, self taught, then this is the industry for you that you got also add within your armor of other things that you do, right? But this don't have to be the end all be all. It could be if you choose, like Open Chris said, supplemental income can become primary if you do it right. Well, how many people we sat and heard throughout the stories last year how these little kids that were living in their mama basement, teenagers, some of them in college, that was back home, and all of them just got whipped into a frenzy of following the social normal stocks that were just being trending and trendy and meme stock. and these people literally turn their stimulus checks into six figures, right? $1,200 into six figures, trading, this AMC stuff and the GameStop and Teslas and all this. Again, people say, well, that was just pure luck. Well, I disagree. I would say sometimes being in the right place at the right time does matter. That's not necessarily being luck. That just means you prepared, right? That's just being prepared. No one works a job and know all the ins and outs of a job. Meaning the company from top to bottom, right? You just in the right place at the right time. And the company might be doing well. You get the benefit from it too, right? Because the company's doing good things, right? The investment world as a whole, all different stocks are just, one big part of one big, conglomerate of opportunity, because this is the one place where you have all the power, and they can shun you from it. They can bar you from it. They can tell you how much you can and cannot make. It's solely up to you, right? Tons of people out there that have been waiting to be a part of that kind of experience, be it you own your own business or you in a position where you feel like you're a partner within a business, right? Uh, Again, it's a whole new different mental dynamic. So again, when you're thinking about, the products and services that you use on a daily basis, are they a publicly traded company? Is there value here? Have they been in business more than 2 to 5 years to 10 years? Right. That says a lot about what their ability to survive. Right. Especially with COVID. COVID had gutted a lot of different businesses. They had to revamp, do their whole business model. In some cases, some just ain't gonna never come back. Uh, but again, those who have shown that they can weather inflations and recessions and all these different things we kind of hear about, in passing in America, because maybe we're not just focused on that kind of stuff. We're just too busy working. But I like to say, financial literacy is pretty much the backbone of American, wealth value, right? When I say that, meaning asset ownership, right? I think Oprah Chris was alluding to that. Asset ownership is the ticket, period. In the discussion, roll credits. If you don't own assets, appreciating base assets, you're going to lose in the long run if you continuously liquidate and buy a whole lot of emotional trinkets as opposed to things that can give you value in the back end. Why? Because inflation is here to stay. Meaning, once they figure the cat's out the bag and they figure that you can figure out a way to pay for all this stuff at a higher price, you think they're going to let these prices go back down?
Nope.
Hey, African Poro, talk about because you're going in, bro. Like a lot of the stuff you're saying, that's where I'm at. Talk about, because you're talking about assets, right? So talk about assets versus holding cash, because we know what inflation does to the dollar, right? So go in on that a little bit. Talk to the people about how assets is better than having cash in an inflationary period.
Right. And I pull from the legendary Ray Dalio, right? His favorite quote, cash is trash, right? Y'all probably heard that before.
Yeah,
Right?
I rock with him.
Cash is trash. Why they say that? Because it has the ability it's a wavering instrument, right? It's a wavering instrument based upon, again, labor market, governance and how they can manipulate currency. So you've heard that term from this country manipulating their currency, right? America's always picking on China because they feel like China always doing it, but America's the biggest one that does it, right? American investors as a whole suffer way more lawsuits when it comes to that kind of stuff and market manipulation, especially like your bigger, fund manager and your JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. They constantly get hit with fines for doing forex market manipulation, right? Commodity manipulation. They do it all the time, right? But to them, okay, we'll pay $100,000 fine, $300,000 fine if we done made what, 30 million, 100 million. You see how that works?
Right.
So they get used to playing the game on their terms, and they'll be willing to pay the fines if they get caught, because they realize most people who are working hard from 9 to 5 really don't understand the monetary system and how it works, how it's supposed to really benefit them, because they're not teaching you from a trade school level in grade school how to not look forward to a job, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, you might have bought a pack of knowledge when you was a kid at maybe 10 cents. Okay, here it is 10, 20 years later. Now that pack of knowledge is going to cost you a quarter. Well, it didn't went up how much? A point and a half in 20 years. That's the power of inflation, meaning they figured out that you found a way to pay for it. It's not that the ingredients to make it have gotten any more expensive. Actually, they got cheaper, right? When you scale, costs come down, right? You learn how to improve your margin. Margins are how they get you, right? They raise the price on goods and services, even in stressful dollar moments when the dollar might be diluted, what they're doing now in printing, they still don't care. Know why? because they know you kind of backed into a what? To a wall. You got no other choice. What else you got? Unless you're gonna grow your own crop, right? So the alternatives are becoming less available, and the only game in time is gonna be, what do you have that you can, turn into, a monetary gain. I mean, owning and controlling assets, because again, the inflation gene is out the bottle. The last time we went through this, again, some of you guys might have experienced it, maybe even knew about it, maybe didn't, but it was just happening because you might have felt it at the gas station or the grocery store, because they're now at a point where they're kind of overcompensating. Right now, the damage, the cure is being worse than the actual disease itself. Have y'all heard that terminology before? Them printing a lot of
Yeah.
money is just making the power of your dollar that much more weaker, right? And of course, the worst thing is we ever go into what they call, from a very basic inflationary aspect that they think is supposed to be transitory, it can become stagflation. Stagflation is definitely what you don't want, right? They went through that before, and then it really gutted American, business, in a lot of ways, because again, you got this high inflationary tax, and the wealth value of the citizens are like, it's way down here. So how they gonna pay for these goods and services? And then business ain't really giving up no wiggle room. Why? Because they don't have to. Number one. Then number two, it's like, y'all know how Americans mindset is greed. It's a covetous environment. It's decadence, right? If I got more and you ain't got nothing, that's too bad, right? That's how they look at it, right? So in saying all that, again, you have to equip yourself with some other skill sets, uh, that can help pad some of this, this economic, uh, this economic hurricane that a lot, of people seem to be going through. Number one, being unemployed, benefits about to run out, and they diluting your what? Your currency, making the cost of goods and services that much more expensive, by very nature. Again, not the fact that just they don't have it to produce this, that, and the third. Not like we just really in a high, big issue with tariffs, even though we got tariffs on, but it's not hurting a lot of products coming into America. What I'm saying, to the degree where you got to pay that extra inflationary tax because of that. It's not about that. It's the fact that, when the government goes to backstop, any kind of calamity or catastrophe in itself, the first people they look to protect first is who? People who own assets, or people who own, just got jobs.
Right.
Clearly, it's for people who own assets, because you become a power broker in the system of America at that point. You own and control things that can be liquidated into what? Into cash, or into items that you can use to live off of. And so they're making it harder and harder for people who don't really see it from that perspective to get ahead, because they pricing you out of the market, literally altogether.
And the crazy thing is, bro, they giving them the money to do it.
Well, yeah,
They giving up because they giving us the money to do it, because that's all the stimulus was. Of course, it was to stimulate the economy, because and the Fed, man, they have these levers, right? We know they have the tools, right? And one of the tools is the what they call fiscal stimulus, which is giving out the credits and debits to us. Then they have the monetary stimulus, which is when they raise and lower the interest rates. Now, when they give out the fiscal stimulus, that causes inflation, because you lose your dollar gets weaker, because everybody got a lot of them.
Right.
I'll give you an example. I had this car, right? About 2019, I was trying to sell this Charger, this Dodge Charger. And I had it up for like 4,000, couldn't sell it at all. So I just kept it, right? Because I'm like, I'm not going no lower than 4. Fast forward to actually this year, I sold it this year. This year I sold it for 5,500. I held that asset because it wouldn't sell, right? Because a car, it can be an asset, right? Because it wasn't my primary car, it was just extra car that I had. So I held on to it because the market wasn't allowing me to get what I wanted for it. And I got lucky, because it's not a lot of cars on the market. Everybody's buying them up. So I was able to sell that asset for more than actually it was technically worth, because 3 years later, it was only worth the 35 or 4,000 at this point this year, you know what I'm saying? But, inflation allowed me to win.
Mm-hmm. And that's essentially it, because used cars is up, but I think they said we're near 10, 13%. For
Yeah,
used cars. Like used
yeah.
cars now, if you had that old donk sitting in the backyard, even though that's a treasure in itself now because people buying up all these little donks, but y'all get my point. You got these vehicles, these used vehicles. Uh, again, before we talk about Kelly Blue Book value, Edmunds, trade in worth value, all these kind of statistics that they use to kind of, price, the market, right, and the automobile sector, whatever. Now you're getting what they call a surplus. You're getting a surplus to your vehicle now, right? Uh, Not so much the fact that the car's worth anymore, technically in terms of what they feel like the society is willing to pay. It's just that, you know, when they pricing in the commodity market, that's why they're rating a lot of this stuff. It's based upon the price of steel, the price of wood, the price of the raw materials that took to make that. Those things become more valuable through inflation, therefore making your end result product more expensive too, right? And it's crazy how when you look at it from that perspective, like, man, that's crazy. But that's what happens once, again, governments themselves get ahead of themselves. Of course, this is what they call a Keynesian marketplace. That's basically what we're in right now. We're in a Keynesian marketplace. That basically means that governance is taking over the free markets. Anytime government takes over free markets, that means, uh, you know, there's a lot of imbalances that's going to become, that's going to come from that, where the markets are not being able to kind of, work itself out of its own issue. This extra supply of money is being printed. It's not necessarily doing the average American any good. It's doing what? Wall Street, a service, right? Because that money is not going to the average mom and pop. It's going back in the mortgage-backed securities and treasury T-bills that they buy in terms of bonds, because they feel like if we could backstop the bigger infrastructure, keep the economy from defaulting, then everybody else over time they'll kind of work into the system and bounce out. But America been trying that like for how long? And it just never seems to gel with these people. Know why? Because they have a different ideology, right? Their only premise is to protect again the people who have assets. Know why? Because people who own assets are more people, or people who they consider their vote is more valuable than a person who do not own, because they feel like you ain't contributing. It's sad, but yet they'll tell you, no, we here for everybody. This is no. See, they just made it. The whole political show now is man, it's a clown show. It's not about, again, common everyday American, quote unquote, empowerment, right? We don't use that word, right? They've already kind of picked and chose sides at this point. They already know. Middle class is pretty much going to get consumed, and it's going to go away in the next 20, 30 years. It's just going to be those who have and those who have not, right? And they're going to squeeze you much as they can. Hence, inflation, this 2% target that the Feds is now mandated. Now it used to be below that, it used to be like 1%, 1.5. Now 2% is the actual floor. It used to be the ceiling. Now it's the floor, meaning they're going to keep, they have a 2% inflationary tax on all your goods and services that you're going to buy going forward. That's just the minimum, the base minimum that they're looking at this point, right? So basically, in a nutshell, cost of living is going up with or without you, right? With or without you. So you got to, again, find other ways to pad your income, right? Now, whatever you do to get your little extra money, that's on you, right? I ain't never tell the person what they can and can't do. But I will say this. This is a skill set where they cannot judge you. They can't, screen you, scrutinize you, talk. You don't even have to deal with a human person, right? And you have just as much power as a Warren Buffett. Why do I say that? Because guess what? You still see the same thing he do when he wake up in the morning and cut his charts on, right? He may have a little extra more experience. He know how to look at the other thing, but you have just as much opportunity and chance. What I'm saying, right? Because now you're just saying, okay, if the road to success is based upon me building something, innovate something, or I latch on to another business model that has something going for them, and I become what they call an angel investor. In a lot of ways, you become an investor in that company, an equity holder, stakeholder. You let them, again, do the heavy lifting, and you just benefit off their growth, right? That's a basic conversation. You say to yourself, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody on here probably ate McDonald's before, right? I know probably I ain't gonna eat that stuff now, but at some point we ate McDonald's, right? Going back to the Happy Meal days. Think about the Happy Meal days. Your Happy Meal days, we talking about 10, 20 years ago for some of you guys, if not longer. Now think about that. In your mind back then as a child, do you think that McDonald's wasn't gonna be around in the future? The experience that you got from getting your little Happy Meal, your little fries and little quarter pound, you know, in your mind, you just figure, see, this is normal, right? This is like apple pie. This company always gonna be around, right? Or this business, it should always be around where I can go enjoy it. Well, from an investor standpoint, Well, that's what the CEO is thinking. How can I grow and scale my business, right? How can I become more valuable, right, than I am even today? Because I feel like I got something that people like and they want. They wouldn't pay for it, right? Beyond the price fluctuations going up and down in terms of prices of the item. No, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the actual worth of a company or a business, right? Where you had not turned one spatula over for a burger or not flip one basket of fries, or you didn't have to do none of that. All you had to say, this $100, this $1,000, this 10 grand, McDonald's go do your magic. I'm gonna give you a 5-year plan, business plan. You go out there and do the heavy lifting again. I'm just gonna sit there and monitor my investment in you and see, you really, can give me a good favor return on my money, on my investment, right? It's hard to think about it in theory when black people are not used to trusting their money being outside their person, because we like things fast and furious, and that's again a big hindrance for the black community. All right, we don't trust the idea of that money being able to work for you. Like let it go, right? Like let it go. Stop trying to micromanage it. Let it go out there and do its thing. Well, that's what we're trying to build now psychologically. We're trying to rebrand our people, start thinking more like it, because again, the power brokers in America are going again end up being the people who own assets. You cannot win in this environment convincing yourself you're gonna hook and book your way through this entire thing. If not, you're gonna be broke down, raggedy, and beat down. Your body, you ain't gonna be able to keep up that way. That's the wrong way to run the race. It's the wrong
Hey,
way to.
bro. Hey, and I like what you said earlier too, because you said a lot of people money is in the market already. They just don't know it. I tell my friends this. I'm like, do you got an
401ks.
IRA? Do you got an
Yep.
IRA? Do you got a 401k? Your money is
ESPs.
in the market. Your money is in the market. So if somebody is doing this shit for you, you can do it yourself.
Even your
like,
bank, your local bank where you park your money with or without a money market card, they still have rights over your money to make investments with it. They loan it out and do other investments with it.
yeah. Banks, they only allowed to they're only liable, they only got to keep about 10% of your money. The other 90%, they loan it out. They loan it out because it costs the bank money for you to leave your money in the bank, it costs them, right? So because they got to pay you for your money to be in the bank. Every month you get a dividend credit. But what the bank does is they loan it out to other people, car loans, mortgages, whatever, the investors that's really gonna use the money. So
Feed off the
yeah,
interest. It's a parasite to host.
off the interest rate, yeah, off the
Yeah,
interest
it's a
rate,
parasite to host relationship, right? So
yeah,
again, understanding how the game works makes us more equipped to be able to maneuver in it better. And I think that's where these conversations are valuable, because a lot of these conversations are not being had, because to us, finance is a taboo thing, right? You pocket watch it. I've yet to really hear white people talk like this. Again, I'm still trying to figure out. For us, it's just you broke if you only make a certain amount of millions, and you pocket watching if you were concerned about how somebody else needs to be kind of better managing their funds, right, as opposed to blowing it, right? So we have a warped way of looking at finances. Hence, that's why we are suffering in some cases in ways that we're not able to build any institutions, because again, no one wants to trust the next person to be the one to say, okay, this person started, initiated. Again, you rarely see that in other communities when it comes to them building stuff, right? So for a lot of us, I think this is a great awakening, because again, if you're hungry, you'll find a way to eat. And if it gets really bad, and to the point where we start cannibalizing each other, then you know at some point it's just going to thin out those who really serious and those who not anyway. And they're going to be forced, right? They're going to be forced to change their situation. And so COVID really kind of shined the light on that. And a lot of you all who were challenging yourselves or doing something new, and you posting on your Facebook or your social media, I'm looking in this crypto stuff. I'm trading forex. I'm learning how to trade options or stock, getting in the stock market. And the looks that people might have gave you at that time, like, you don't know what you're doing. You over there gambling, right? All the again, the
right?
silly stuff you hear when people don't understand something, they got to always add the negative connotation to it, because it's to kind of belittle that they are not necessarily on that level where you are, or that path of journey you are. So you got to kind of dumb it down to make it make sense, to make them have an excuse why they should not be doing it. We've all been there. And that's fine because again, in their point of time, they're just gonna see from results because guess what? This is a performance-based industry. It's performance-based, right? You have to move your feet in order to eat, right? So guess what? And at some point where they start to see that your level of consistency is starting to kind of take root, because they might see you posting more regularly, eventually they're gonna what? They're gonna fall in line. And they're gonna start asking those questions. Here it comes. Because you know it's coming. You don't hit them with I told you so. You just say, okay, you ready? Here's how you get started, right? Because there's enough for everybody to go around, right? The very nature that there's no cap on what you can and can do in the market is a testament to that, right? And how many times we've seen these companies, you know, again, 5, 10 years ago, they were here. Well, you might have knew nothing about a company's financial situation, right? How they update any of that stuff on that side of the house. Uh, you only knew them from a consumer standpoint. They still in business. They still dropping product, and they actually going up. So something must be good. Business must be good. Well, here's a chance where you can learn all that, right? You can be a part of it. Know what the AK is, a 13, 13F file, and all these different, you can learn all this stuff, right? 10Q, whatever it is, you can learn all this stuff, and you'll just realize that okay, this is just a part of everyday business, right? This is just a part of you know getting putting the investor in the driver's seat of the business without him having his name on it for liability purposes. Right? The only liability you have is that whatever you never invest more than you have willing to lose because you are the sole proprietor of just what this business endeavor at this point. Once you get that out the way, the rest is history. You just got to have the patience to realize that this is about building generational wealth, and this is not short-term fulfillment gain. This is not, we're not doing emotional highs anymore. We're not going to, trade uh, our blackness for trinkets any longer. Right? You have to learn how to put a couple dollars away. If you got $200 allotted in a miscellaneous fund that you're gonna blow anyway on a weekend for some odd reason, okay, scale 40 out of it, right? Reduce it by $40. Put that $40 to work, uh, you know, in an asset, in an interest producing asset, and then go part with the $140. Right? The world ain't gonna stop because you got $40 less this week. That means you just got other money out there working for you to produce or regenerate that what you finna blow anyway or liquidate for emotional high. So that's a discipline that we need to become more. Uh, we need to become very static in that mindset, right? That we don't waver off that, and this is all we think about going forward because again, that's where the power is at. So again, when we look at stocks, again, coach, y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all gonna kind of crank y'all some charts up in a second here. My food almost here. I'm sorry, I had to order. Right? But while I'm probably eating, if y'all still building, I'll be able to kind of share. But you go through this market and look at all these different assets, right? So you take, I think our brother Dollar Wills asked about a stock earlier. He was talking about XOM. That was oil play, right?
Yeah.
I think that's Chevron, right?
Yeah.
Is it Chevron?
Yeah, XOM.
Okay.
Yeah, they are Exxon Mobil. Excuse me,
Exxon.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chevron is CHV. Right. So when you think about the oil market, right? So we're talking about commodities, right? That's what oil is. Oil, the fuel, basically as a whole, is commodity, right? Uh, let me go to the daily chart here. Right? And this down here, guys. Give me 1 second here. So to a lot of people, they say, "Well, man, what's the use, man? I ain't got time for all this, man. I got to make my money. I got to get it right now, right?" Well, look, you know, as they say, you're never going to be able to, enjoy, the fruits of your labor until you put in a little work anyway in life. In terms of we're talking about things that can offer you a great benefit on the back end, because at some point, you're gonna, realize that your time is definitely a commodity, right? Your time in itself is very invaluable. So the same way you may value waiting for a football season to come around after it didn't pass, and you got to go through that kind of drop period, kind of, fiending for football. Well, that could be a good time to learn how to what, learn how this works in terms of that same perspective, right? How to be patient enough to let your money work for you, while you go out and do other things, or learn other hobbies and trades, whatever. Well, what's the net positive of this? Oh, or you can possibly end up making some money, right? And you have the ability to micromanage in a way where you can't necessarily lose all your money too, because there is values in place or technicals in place where you can put a stop threshold value on your loss in the case a stock doesn't perform well for some odd reason. right? There's so many ways that it's still unique about it, but it's the only game in town where all the people that really got money, this is where they hang out at. They don't brandish it and tell everybody because they feel like they don't want to tell anybody how they, how they success came to be. They definitely do it working a 9 to 5 in most cases, unless they own the business. Right? You can work your way up the ladder that way too, but that's a whole lot to get there, right? Well, we seen people come over here again and literally overnight, they changed their whole entire tax bracket in a trade, right? Not necessarily even an investment, but a trade. Or it might have been an investment that started as an investment, but they ended up becoming a trade because essentially their money just went through the roof, in the trade overnight, and 6 figures plus, 7 figures, whatever. And it's like, man, this is crazy, right? So that's what excites a lot of people to realize the power of investing, because it can be that kind of scenario too, or it could be a generational wealth building caveat to pass on to your children, right? Your future generation, because as long as you own that CUSIP, right, you got a CUSIP number that come along with any certificate that you buy in terms of stock, you can easily transfer it on to your children. So it is a wealth generation creator. Uh, Even when you're not around, it can still be producing. Why? Because if that company's still in business, you still are just as much a power player owning that CUSIP, than it was day one when your parents bought it or someone bought it and gave it to you. Right. So you're looking at these companies saying, okay, where can I find value? Or where's the value in some of these plays? What's the use case? What's the market looking like? When we say the market, again, you already know the market in a lot of ways. Then you give yourself credit for why? Because you partake in it as a consumer, right? You know about Exxon Mobil, you know about that gas station. You heard, it ain't nothing new. Chevron, BP, you start hearing all these things. Okay, yeah, I see what's going on here. Yeah, so like anything, the same way you shop for shoes and houses, you do your research. Okay, what's the best in breed? What's the best one out there? Who's the best in business in that particular industry? And you just start doing deductive reasoning from there, right? So, it's not really, it's not as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be, and you'd be surprised that what you already know, with some basic homegrown skills, already kind of put you in the dough, a lot faster than you probably think it takes you to learn it through a university system, so to speak, right? Like just looking at the oil market, right? The oil market is in a very peculiar place right now. Why? Because the world is trying to get back to work. Not just America, but the world. The world is still a mechanized industry. Yeah, we know about all this new electrical energy, this, that, and the third. We get that. That's the new wave of the future. It's growing. But there's always going to be a need of space for what? Fossil fuels to a degree until they find a way to really phase out. But until then, guess what? It's still It's still what they call risk on, right? Risk on meaning, these are still investable assets that have value in them, right? Because they have a lot of different use cases and products and byproducts that they can still make money for, right? And again, reap them some margin from it too, right? So you look at, obviously this stock here during the COVID scenario, it fell from obviously, way up here in the $62, $63 a share. Like everything fell because when COVID became reality, stocks dropped, right? Assets, plummeted because it's scarce, right? People pulling money out. They don't know. You plan for a rainy day, right? There's different ways to hedge disasters, right? You buy gold, you can buy other commodities. You could be in, a myriad of different industries within the stock market that seem to be more defensive against those kind of things. But the one thing you don't want to be is out the market. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Why do you not want to be in the market at any time? Anybody? Nice. Answer that question actually too.
Hold on, what'd you say?
You
when
said,
do you ever want to be not in the market? Is there a time you should not never be in the market?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. What I would say is like say because I wasn't in the market, so I learned the market during COVID, right? So I didn't have any assets particular in the market pre-COVID. But if I did, knowing what I know now, I would move to cash. I would move to cash because I know once everything falls, cash is king. But I wouldn't get 100% out of the market, but I would definitely, take profits where I could, knowing that the economy is getting ready to shut down. So
Hedge position.
That's it. So that's another thing about that. 'Cause again, the fact that, like you said, in a learning environment where you're trying to figure out, exactly what's the benefit of this great tool as in the market. Like you know, there's always a consumer shift when a new product come out. People run from this side to that side. Again, McDonald's, Burger King, Chevron, Shell Station, BP. Notice they always kind of cross street from each other. Walgreens, CVS. Knows how that work.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a shift of money in that same perspective when it comes to the market. If one
Right.
sector is being, depleted because it may hurt their bottom line because their product or service not being disrupted because of a pandemic or an issue, then there's another set that's finna gain all their interest. Why? Because they're the other player, right? They're the more stationary player that has a benefit during that environment. Does that work? So you just learn how to diversify better. You learn how to take money out of this pot and shift it over to this pot. Why? Because this one over here is fertile now. You see how that work? So that's why when you think about people who made billions in the market, millions and billions, they realize that there's never a moment you want to be completely all the way out of the market. Why? Because even if you hedge and buy gold or commodity, you still actually in the market. That
Right.
gold bar doesn't go or stop its valuation only because we're in a pandemic and everything stopped and it just stopped and hit a reset button or pause button. No, it's still going after what? It still has a fluctuation of value that people willing to put on it or based upon what they willing to pay for. So it's still what? Accumulating what? Value. One way or the other. Right? And so again, this is the game, and it's a very unique game, but this is the game that they've been playing on us for a long time. We've been impressed with getting a job. They are impressed with owning assets or owning the business itself. Right? Again, y'all seen that one post? I got the job, thousands of likes. You go, boy, you go, girl. I started my business, 0 likes. Because a lot of the society's not, they're not structured to realize the power of asset ownership or just being, a power broker of your own existence. A lot of them don't think that way. Not that they can't learn, it's just that they have never been given a crash course in terms of how the monetary system really works in America, in terms of capitalism being the controller of your entire life, right? Again, you having security is going to be based upon you owning securities. That's what they call them securities, right? Because you can always, time to get hard, you can liquidate. You see what I'm saying? You can sell for the appreciated value of the interest that accrued on it, and you can still be in the game. You can take the profit off what you've been in as stock for 5-6 years and you ran into a hard time, and you still be, set for future growth because you don't have to liquidate the entire position because now the profit value is scaled to the degree where you can take care of your issue, whatever, and keep pushing. And you still in with, not all your money gone in terms of liquidating the asset, and you can still go out there, let it grow again. Right? It's like people that own land, right? As long as you got trees on it, like they say, you good to go. Paper mills and all that kind of stuff, farming. That's what this is about. This is about again realizing the power within that. So you never want to be all the way at the market. Even though when you think about having just sitting on the market and sitting in cash, well, the ideal of sitting in cash is basically, for those who don't know, is that either you're gonna have a margin value where you're gonna borrow money against the market to kind of utilize to kind of one up the market even more, or 2x market even more, or you could just be strictly, trading strictly with your dollar for dollar cash value, right? Right? Or you could just go out and buy the USD dollar in itself, right? As a commodity, right? And sit on that because people want American dollars. Why? Because it's still the reserve currency of the planet. As of today, is it going to be there 5, 10, 20 years from now? People can't say that unequivocally at this point. Why? Because America now has another competitor that's gaining traction very fast, and they can't stop it. They try everything to monkey wrench them, but they can't stop them. So
talking about big.
No, China.
Oh,
economy,
okay.
Superpowers. Right. So
what you think about China's economy, man? Because I hear a lot of people in the community like, oh, screw capitalism, X, Y, and Z, but they want to be communists, but like,
well, guess what? China participates in the free market.
Right.
Well, how communist are they?
And what I was gonna say is like, you see what happened to Didi.
Well, guess what? That just means that unlike America, where they can rip you off in front of your face, China says we're gonna force you to do business in the likeness that it has to go within the confinement of the greater good of what our society at some value where we can all benefit from. Meaning the government, if we're gonna control it from a communist, because there's good and bad in any kind of system, right? Marxist,
Right.
socialist, communist, totalitarian. There's goods and bads in all of it. On the American mindset, if you ain't doing it our way, everything else is trash. But that's the most wrong, the most dangerous way to look at life. Why? Because where you sharing principles and values to really take care of the common good of your citizens, right? Because you watering down their worth, make sure those who have more, then how are you saying you for the people? When there's people starving, homeless, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I'm saying? At exorbitant rates, right? You can't even catch a rainwater without it being a fine. You can't even fish in the water without getting a fine, without a license. See how that works?
Yeah.
They got your whole life bottled up in a license or a piece of paper. They got you really a part of a communist society in a lot of ways. Then you think because you go to McDonald's at 2 a.m., you think that's freedom? I don't think so. Right? Because the common good of the natural citizen being taken care of is not in play. What is government benefit? People can do this. That. See, there's always that's just what you know because you have experienced anything else. But you look at China's economy, it's been what? Doubling and quadrupling over the past 10 years. They hit the Industrial Revolution and it took off to like the world had never seen ever before. And it's threatening America, and they already know that China basically is going to overtake America in the next what? 5 to 10 years. They can't stop it. Why? Because they're leading the charge in what? The evolution of what? Technology.
Yep.
They're leading the charge in all that. They already got the stuff that we're already thinking we want. They already had it. It's old to them. Bioretina scan, all this stuff. I mean, this stuff is old to them. AI over there is like, yeah, we were doing that like years ago, bro. Y'all late. This is why.
Yeah.
Guess what? America won't end. But see, they say, no, we're not going to let you companies come in and compete with ours. Why? Because that's a detriment to what? Keeping our people homogenous perspective protected. See, they say it costs. Is it cost that it case? What they say? How they say it in the military? There's a cost of putting what? Foot to neck or foot to back, right? There's a cost to come with that, right? If you really want to protect your situation, you have to be willing to do that, right? So this is why they are being able to do stuff like that. So DD, that's a casualty of war. No big deal to them. There gonna be 100 other DDs come right after them. What they're doing now with the education system, why they removing all that special tutoring, that's a big crackdown they're doing too. Do you think the people just think they're up and gonna leave? No, because they want that client base. Why? They have the biggest head count of what they have one of the biggest middle classes living on the planet. And they got billions of people over there. And it's growing. Right? We had the biggest, but now they finna overtake our middle class. And they constantly mashing the gas pedal and improving. So of course they don't have to allow competition to come into their markets if they won't. And yet America's so greedy, they can't live without what? Chinese market being attached to theirs. See how that works?
Right.
Who got all the power? Right? Who got all the power? Right? So that's why this is, to a lot of people who don't understand it, because most of the goods and services that you're buying, they coming from what? Asia. That's how they got you. Majority of this, at least 60% of the stuff in your house comes straight from Asia, if not 70, 80%. That's how that works. So you can't live without them, yet you want to, pop shots and do all the, the elementary stuff, and call them name, this, that, there, and then people winning. Now, I'm not bigging them up. I'm just looking at it from a basic understanding of this is what they call quid pro quo and self-preservation. They preserving their situation under their values and norms that they used to, and people want in. That's why they buying up all of Africa. That's why they in the West Indies, and they buying up all the Caribbean islands. They own the port of Jamaica. How you sell your port? That's the most richest commodity that you own as a governing nation is your port, because you can determine what come in and go out, right? If you sell your port, that's Jamaica sold their port to China.
Damn.
Zambia and Africa, remember, they sold their entire airport. China. Matter of fact, they defaulted on the debt, and in China, that was
So what? China was buying up a lot of the government bonds for that country.
They've been doing it. They've been buying all the T-bills in America. Remember, I
know they own a lot. I know. Yeah, I know they own a lot of
They
them.
own basically the whole entire Midwest and T-bills.
Yeah.
If they ever want to pull out, America is mess, right?
Yep.
But this is how this stuff works. So again, this is why this stuff is important, and that's why these conversations are, in my opinion, they're revolutionary. Why? Because we didn't get them at a time when we really needed it. Why? Because at that time we was a sponge, we were hungry, we were wired out of bushy tail, and a lot of our parents didn't have the wherewithal to kind of break this stuff down. Their kids are getting this stuff though. Right? These are their dinner table discussions. Is this? Ours is how many did LeBron dropped last night? How many yards did dude hit the other day? What's the latest on them? That next pair. So and so getting ready to come out. Again, we're the end. We're the test beta recipient of all things consumer. See how that work? High price, high margin. We're the test beta subject. Now, all they doing is study us and figure out what else can they package and sell to us. We're the ultimate tool. But see, that's why I say it's a gift and a curse. Why? Because we dictate the economy through our consumer value. Because we take something and take it to the next level. We just haven't figured out how to do it ourselves and get the profit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, if you can't beat them, join them. Then at least learn how to invest in the company and get yours on the back end. Oh man, that's too this and this too that, man. I don't know. I ain't got time for all that, man. Of course you got time. If you don't, they're gonna force you to at some point. Again, what we're doing right now, what we're dealing with, inflation. People crying about the price of eggs and milk and cheese and gas and lumber and all that stuff. Yeah. And most people out there still unemployed. And they benefits getting ready to run out. Then what's gonna happen? A lot of people finna get evicted in the next 3 days. A lot of people finna get evicted when this moratorium run out. Unemployment benefit getting run out. I think did they extend the moratorium on housing? I don't think they did. They already did it like 2 or 3 times. I don't think they can do it any longer. I don't know. They might try to pull
They
some out.
they ain't came out with nothing. So the moratorium is
It's still
over
31st,
July
right?
31st. Yeah.
Yep. Now how many people gonna had all that rent money? Y'all remember the movie Friday when I come here for that rent money? You better have all that rent money. Craig and Day Damien came for that rent money. Well, that's what the government, these homeowners that got these properties, that's what they're gonna do. They ain't gotta show you no liens, no nothing. They can get all of it up. They can ask for all of it up front. And if you ain't got it, you out of here. Yeah, and like Monica said, people were getting those extra $600 stipends on their unemployment benefits, and they're making $700-800 sitting home every week on the government, and then most people didn't even invest not one penny of it, not one penny. Let that marinate for a moment. Right? That's the part I was talking about earlier. That's what I call that cannibalization. A lot of our people, they cannibalize themselves during this moment. But why? Because they put a lot of their faith and trust in the government. How? The government ain't saying, hey, I just want to let y'all know, y'all got to worry about going to work. Learn how to invest your money. That's the last thing they're going to tell you, right? Tragic. Tragic. The quality of living is not based upon how they value you. It's about what they can get out of you. So guess what? We finna figure out how to reverse engineer that, and we finna take out of them what they've been getting out of us for all these years. So you got to have asset ownership as the lead thing in your mindset. Your kids need to be learning like yesterday. They never too young, right? And you're never too old to learn, right? You're never too old to learn. So that's just part of one admitted way. We're not saying that's the only way. There's real estate ownership. You can own housing, land. Come on, you could drop ship. You can own your own business. Yeah, come on, no, but you have to be willing to do something different. So a lot of us are comfortable. You know, we trying to challenge that, right? We trying to challenge that, and we trying to use a company like this, ExxonMobil, right? Looking at this chart right here. If you see this here, if a person look at this and they's like, man, I don't know about all this stuff is calligraphy, man. This is some old hieroglyphic stuff. I don't know what I'm looking at. Of course, you know what you're
I
looking at.
know
Why?
hieroglyphs. What's up?
Hello, right?
Nah, I'm messing with you.
And we do because know why? Because we understand bar charts and pie charts. We did that in grade school. This stuff ain't new to us. Color coordination. We know marketing and understanding of what we hear, see different things from this perspective. Red means stop, green means go. See, a lot of this stuff, the kids can even pick up on that. We understand peaks and troughs, sine waves, sinusoidal waves. We know about all this stuff. This ain't nothing new. Algebra. It's not hard to figure it out. If I looked at this chart right here just alone and said to myself, I don't know what's all this stuff about, but I see that this thing, there's a line up here, there's a line down here, and it seemed like this thing was red and it came down, and then here it started to turn green again. That means there must be some kind of equilibrium point here or bottom, and from here it started going back up. So either there must be some buyers that's buying it. It's just a stock appearance, somebody must be selling, and then somebody must be trying to buy it. So as long as it seems to be staying within this little range here, I guess that means that's a sign that people buying and selling inside this little box. So if it's on the bottom side of it, that means it must be go time for buying a little bit. Makes sense to me logically. Did that take a science degree? Don't necessarily mean it's gonna work out that way, but there's a probability that it could. So a lot of things in life is based upon probability, right? In marketing, right, or investing, they call it speculative, right? Speculation, right? So it's not an exact science, right? You could be coming to work every day faithfully and lose your job the next day out of the blue, right? They replace you with somebody else, right? So there's always wavering points of variables in play. Is my point. You learning those variables is what's going to help you become valuable in terms of learning how to make your money work for you by parking it in lucrative assets. Not working through the company, blowing your knees and back out, but parking it in a company that can give you that benefit. So oil market right now is going through, like we say, right now it's still in a it's still in what they call a bullish phase. Why? Because they're still banking on people going back to work. They need that mechanism or the machine of cars and motorcycles and planes flying and boat. That stuff is yet to kind of hit its peak return. So guess what? The cost of fuel is up because of inflation that the Fed and central banks have caused through printing money while nobody's working to kind of pad that through labor. So guess what? That makes the price of oil that much more expensive. It's not that they can produce more or we're running out as a world. It's just that the margin value has not expanded because guess what? They can control the price based upon this valuation that they've been giving these companies because they've been getting taken care of the central bank, been padding their market, their pockets in terms of the stock market, and so they can charge higher prices for their goods and services now. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Who you gonna complain to? The government?
Hey, let me ask you a question about that because I got a lot of I got about 2 oil stocks. I'm actually doing pretty damn good on them, but I noticed. So I watch the indexes for oil, the Brent crude and WTI, and those tell me. Oh, okay, you got them right there. Yep, WTI and crude. Those tell me how the market in oil is going to do as a whole. So whenever I want to see how oil is doing, I go straight to crude and I go to Brent, and it never fails because like when those are up, my two oil stocks are up. When the bad boys start creeping down, they start creeping down as well. So
Commodity, or especially industry. It's industry, benchmark value where everything underneath that, what they say, rising boat lifts all tide, or rising tide lifts all boats. Well, in a lot of these sectors in these industries, that's how it works within their industry. Now, you may not even be best in breed, meaning best in breed, you might be the best in the bunch, meaning your business model, you're getting more margin than everybody else. But guess what? Those who are second, third, and fourth can still benefit. Why? Because it's the industry thing. Why? Because markets are favored toward those sectors that are hot, meaning algos of things that are buying the market are going to be favored towards what's hot at the moment. They're going to flood the lesser ones as well as those who are greater than. And so everybody gets a chance to eat in an aspect where there's a one trick pony. It might be the winner, but everybody else can feed off of it too. See how that work? So understand that the industries, how they work, like healthcare, utilities, energy, materials, consumer staples, consumer discretionary items, right? There's so many different things out there that you can, invest in a sector perspective, right? Clean energy stocks, right? Where you can even benefit from a major player within that being the breadwinner in a lot of ways. And so, and just learning how to look at that. Because that's like when you go to, okay, now, okay, Nike hot right now, right? They drop a shoe, whatever it is. Let's say, a pair of J's, whatever, right? Now, that particular, let's say model, let's say they drop a retro, whatever. Just for that one model being out at that moment, it sparked the interest for the other ones to kind of catch a little wet. a little bid too. Meaning people might want, okay, I wasn't able to get that color, but I'm gonna go get the so and so color, right? Because in business, it's about what? It's a fear loss mechanism, right? The way that the more they feel like they got more control over you, the more you want to have it, right? Because they feel like they can take it away from you, right? They fear loss. A lot of people in the buying things that they don't necessarily need. They're always anyway. That's marketing 101. It's the same thing in some of these assets too, because the fact that if you feel like you out of the market when there's an opportunity where it could be what benefit, it forces you to say, "Oh man, do I really want to be not in the market?" Because over time, what has the market shown you? That it's always going to outperform. Right? It's always going to outperform as long as you're in it and you're patient. Why do we say that? Because guess what? If we look at just again, I just use this as very basic stuff. This is not me making up. This is what the market has done. Right? This is pretty much a lot of you guys' birth to where you at today in terms of the growth of it. And it's just one of many. If you look at this here on that perspective, right? We just go back to now. They say the inclusion of the spider when they made the spider, even though it was something else at that point. Let's say we go back to 1993. I don't know what you guys were doing back in 1993 or what was going on in your life, but at that time, you talking about an asset at that point was basically down here. Now, this is not rocket science. This is just me, natural observation. If you start out down here and it's way up here, uh, some basically near 20 some odd years later, right? Or 30 some odd years later, then that means that must be some kind of some level of sequential growth. Well, that's just that one stock then, brother. Poor you ain't saying that. Okay, let's go to McDonald's, your favorite little Happy Meal store. Let's go there, right? Okay, seems like okay, going back to 1968, McDonald's was trading at 12 cents a share, somewhere around there at 1968. Okay, now it's at $241 a share. You mean tell me McDonald's is still a viable investment? Charts don't lie, numbers don't lie. Black people love saying that, right? Well, here it is. Some people can't deal with that. They ain't ready to deal with that. Okay, that was just lucky then. Okay, let's go to your favorite shoe store then. You love Nike. They get a lot of your money, right? Okay, 1981, what would you do in 1981? Well, Nike was at, before it split, they done 19 cents a share. Well, apparently Nike today is at what? 165. Yeah, so you saying, okay, it's worth well over what 10,000 plus percent, some crazy number like that, in a matter of how many years? Roughly in near 40 years. So if your parents put $100 on Nike way back then, today it'd be worth 10,000 plus percent or whatever. If not more, I might be doing math fast. That today, meaning you can liquidate that asset in any hard times, and you got what? Money. You got you can live. That's the asset ownership value. That's why these things are being protected. Why? Because again, the government wants to control. Again, reward those who are stakeholders in this in this corporation by owning assets that have appreciated value. I mean, we could do this all day, right? And well, for those who talk that amount of benefit, there's also others that crashed and burned and died. Yeah, they are. Guess what? And you didn't have to sit there for the stock to go to zero to figure it out, because you can always sell. Right? Case in point, the stock right now going through that. We talk about China, right? China cracking down on it's some of its power brokers in this country, right? And over there, the educational system right now, this tutoring service. Look at this stock right here. China
Damn.
pull that slick move on them. This stock was traded started out in 2010, $2 chain. It went all the way up here to like $90 and chain, and it was constantly still growing. It was going to grow further, and they pulled a plug on it just like that. So this stock went from $90 all the way down to roughly around about $4 and change in a matter of what was it, like 3 months. So 90 to 4. Now, if this company can salvage this business model, meaning they can find a way to still make money, even though they got those restrictions that China's imposing on them, do you think this stock is not going to be attractive buy for somebody to get back in it and say, at some point now we got all this kind of foolishness out the way. The company ain't going to have to dissolve itself and go to what they call insolvency level, I can still salvage this. Do you think people not gonna want to buy this after it dropped that first that went from that expensive down to this cheap? You think people ain't not gonna want to buy that? Anybody I'm asking, y'all think they might not want to buy this at this price as opposed to at $90 a share?
Oh, 100
Yes.
percent.
I'm thinking about buying it.
See, we looked at the crash and said, "Oh, stay away," because that's black people, right? We known for that. It's a scam, you know, black people, scam bird, scam. We call it scam bird, right? It's all that, but all it takes a little bit of due diligence to figure out what's going on here. See how that works? Investigative journalism. We do it every day when we watching sports. Our favorite TV show, we know everything about it. Guess what? You can learn everything about this company too. Why? There's always news on it. It's public record. Why? Because it's a publicly traded company. If the company puts out a press release saying we are still solvent, we still got ability to to save our business. We just have to revamp our business model to not have the kind of have a conflict with the Chinese government in terms of how they want us to run our profitable business, right? They want us to be non-profit, this, that, and the third. Well, we can still be profitable if we run it this way. If you find a way to do that, guess what? That means it's back in business, right? So here's how this is working out. People see that drop and we say, what? Run away. I see the drop, I say, oh, I'm going to run to it. If there's a way it can be salvaged, I run to it because this stock was just at 90. If it just gets back a fraction of where it fell, let's say it runs to 10, it goes to 20. Well, how much upside is that at a $4 price point? Right? Well, that's well over 500% if it goes back to $20 a share from $4. That's 500%. How many times you been in a situation where you can 5x your money in anything in it? Money market account, working for it on the job. Let's say your boss gonna give you 5x, time and a half for working on a weekend for an entire year. But look at what you had to trade to get that. Here, I just park my money and walk away. I go shoot basketball for the rest of the year. I come back. Is that $20 yet? Oh, okay. Oh, see, they made a run. They got close. Oh, but that's 500%. So if I put 10 racks in it, what's 500% of 10 racks? What's 500% of 10,000? That's $50,000. That's 50,000.
345.
$50,000.
I'm just going to.
And that can happen in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. That's the power of investing. Finding a bargain, saying, okay, is there something to this? Because you get to read all this. See all this right here? You get to read this. You ain't investing in the dark, in the blind, blind. No. This stuff comes with due diligence. It comes with you using the same thing you do when you researching everything else. Black people always want to research everything else, but the stuff that they should be researched, they It is a public record. See how that works? So it's just a mind shift. It's a mentality shift. Once we realize the power, this is how they've been making all this money in our face, under our noses, and we haven't been partaking because we too busy trying to consume as opposed to own, operate, distribute, or sell. That changes the game. How many people came into the investment world because of COVID out of necessity? A lot of people did. Because they finally saw you've been posting. Now they're like, okay, yeah, brother, about this investing stuff you've been doing. Hey, help me out. What's going on? We've been waiting on you, family. Let's go. We need more of us in here. We far in between in this industry.
I wouldn't pay attention to the time.
So, go ahead, sis. Oh, I think she's right.
Hey, bro, let me ask you a question.
So,
how long you been in the game?
Not long enough. That's the honest answer. Why do I say that? Because, again, like I said earlier, imagine had you got this when you was in grade school.
Right.
Let that marinate for a moment. Was you not consuming still in grade school? Was your parents not still consuming when you was in grade school? Was your parents not buying you stuff on your birthday, holiday? Every marketing day that came around as a holiday, they spent money. And they didn't invest money. See how that works?
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't want the G.I. Joe this week. I don't want the, the Nikes for my birthday. No, put it in buy me a certificate of stock,
So I just take
right?
some
Sister
what I
Monica, your mic open, hon. Sister Monica, Sister
oh,
Monica,
what? I'm
your,
sorry.
your mic open. I didn't want you to say that. You late after hour. You might even call Tyrone and say something.
My bad. All
No, you
right.
good. So that's what's great about this. Why? Because you can learn this on your free time, under your own dime. Do you think you have to go to college to learn this? Are your eyes deceiving you right now when you look at this chart and say, okay, it was here, went to here, and then it just plummet overnight? What happened? Something must have happened. You do a little research, figure out, oh, this is what happened. They come at the nonprofit school, they want them to kind of revamp their business model and do it under their premise or how they want it. Is it going to completely dissolve the business? Well, guess what? They have to put out press release to prove that. They have to speak to their shareholders and say, hey, either we're going to go under or we're not. Guess what? They said, we're not going to go under. We just have to revamp our business model. That means we still good. Now, you still trusting that as a grain of salt. But guess what? Like I said before, you can also put security on your money. If I invest 10 racks at $4.50, I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it about a 40 cent to a dollar threshold of loss in order for me to, get them a little wiggle room to kind of sort all this out. Or if not, they're gonna fail. And then guess what? At least I'll leave with some of my money or my investment value. So again, that's the same as you taking a job and having to be there every day, hoping you don't get sick, because if you don't show up to work, you're not gonna get paid. You know how this stuff works. It's about understanding how to manage risk. That's what investing is. It's about learning how to manage risk. That's what every business owner, entrepreneur have to deal with every day. That's why everybody ain't cut out for that kind of lifestyle. I get it, but you don't have to necessarily be a pawn or peon to everybody else. You can still learn how to get you some money too, and get paid and get in the game too, using these financial vehicles. So again, it's a lot and it's so many different opportunities out there. I mean, again, look at her, EDU. EDU is at 18, 19 bucks. It's at 236 right now. It's in the same boat because it's going through that same. This stock just need to get back a fraction of that. If it just get back, 100%, 200%. Well, guess what? There's somebody banking on that. Why? Because they say, okay, it's gonna bounce at some point. All right, I put $100,000 on it. I'll risk 20%. I'll risk losing 20,000 in the event that they think it bounce and go back up, or they can, they salvage their business. All I need to just go to $3, $4, $5, right? They get 300% on $100,000. Well, guess what? That's $300,000, $400,000 you just made. And these people do this stuff and they make that kind of money just like that. That takes us, 5, 6, 7, 8 years on a job or whatever for some case. And you're like, how is this even fair, right? And that's the great part about it. Of course, there's hard work within that learning. Well, you shouldn't shy away from the learning of it, because why? This is part of your everyday life anyway. You should want to learn this because this is tied to everything in your life. Investing and trading is symbiotic to your daily living, because it's products and services, it's commerce. It's have and have nots. It's micromanagers, risk management. It's all the stuff that sometimes we kind of take for granted, but we don't realize the importance of it until we start having to realize how to work it now. But that's what we're doing. So again, pick your favorite company, throw it out there, and that's what this is all about. You trying to figure out where's value here, and what's my my patience level to deal with the expectation of growth. No matter what stock I pull up, I can pull up a lot of these, right? I'm actually in TAL, disclaimer, all right? For the record, I'm in TAL, right? I got some calls in it that I'm looking to convert to real shares if they could really you know, turn their business model around. And they were dirt cheap when I bought them. They already up now, I think, over what? I think I'm up over 100+% in them calls, right? That I can convert into real shares based upon them being able to prove that they, can get their business back on point. It's little stuff like that. When you understand how to work the system, you'll never have to worry about working a day of your life ever again. Because you can get fired or lose your job because of COVID. Guess what? You still got what? You have a plan A, not a plan B. Your job is plan B. This is plan A. Or or owning your own business. That's plan A. Not work for somebody. That's plan B. I've been waiting to have more time I can focus on the market. That kind of energy of mentality. right? And you don't have to be day trading every day. That's not the case. We're talking about learning how to invest long term, a quarter, right? But on the fiscal calendar, biannually, quarterly, however, annually, you get to choose that. Weekly, and option. Man, this stuff is wide open. And long as Wall Street is greedy, guess what? All you gotta do is just ride the coattail. So one thing about the dominant society, we use that terminology, the dominant society. They say you want to mess with the dominant society, you mess with their money. Well, guess where all their money is at? Anybody? Where do the dominant society park their money at? Seems to me they're parking a lot of these assets like these. Do they Roth, they TSP, they mutual funds, however, individual stock collection of ETF. That's where their money's at. They know that this is the only game on the planet where you have full control of asset or wealth creation if you just patient and learn how to what play the game under the rules of engagement. And you still can go out there and do other stuff, build businesses and work for people if you want and whatever. That don't mean you just stop and just everything goes to this. No, you still can enjoy life and do everything else. So again, it's mentality. So that's what I'm excited about with all this. Um, Man, I go up and get my stuff real quick. It's out there, the delivery guy. So yeah, so somebody take over real quick. Let me go get my stuff. I'm sorry, uh, and I'll come back and build if you guys still on. I got to run upstairs and make sure I take care of this real quick. So anybody want to take over the charts? Therefore, keep building on this. Over Marquise, over Brandon, over anybody, and I'll be back here in a second, hot second. Who got the floor? Who got the floor? Who got the floor? Anybody? Anybody? There we go. There we go. See, there we go.
Yeah. Yo, man, if you pick it up, you can pass the baton when I get set up. I don't know if somebody talking. I can't. I don't know if yeah, I can't hear anybody.
I was on mute.
Oh, okay, cool.
You say you setting up, right? What you setting up on the computer, Marquise?
Yeah, I was. I set up if anybody wanted to, look at something or whatever. I was just
Yeah, that'd be great. The only reason I won't be able to control it, I want to look at the stuff right now, but because my flight is at 5 a.m. and so I was packing while y'all was talking.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna make some moves in the next 9 days.
Okay.
I've got to go to I got a disabled veterans convention in Tampa, and then for like 4 5 days, and then I'll slide into Vegas on the 1st for paparazzi convention. So
Uh-oh.
yeah,
I ain't getting flued out. Let me stop. Yeah, you out there by my hometown, by Tampa. I'm, Orlando.
yeah.
You
So I wanna I'm trying to pack up my stuff because I ain't do what I was supposed to on time. So
Yeah, I feel you.
and
Yeah,
you almost So I pulled up. I just put this thing. This still have. Remember we was doing this session.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
I was hearing that stuff in my sleep.
And I think it actually did what we was talking about too, as far as it going above that resistance and becoming that support.
It sure did. Look.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think I made a couple bucks right there.
Nice.
I think I had did a call for 439, and I said because I could have hit that twice, and I was up there buying a refrigerator in Lowe's, and I thought I placed a call, and it was just sitting there. So the next morning I was like, oh man, that's when it ran it up. It ran it up
Mm,
or whatnot. And now it was too late because I had already got out. But then I caught it again though, right here.
yeah, yeah. It's not. I was most of the last couple of days. I just been selling calls for real. I just been doing the spread, selling the calls.
Hmm. Hmm.
This type of consolidation is really beneficial for if you're doing, selling options or doing spreads.
Hmm.
Just trying to. I was really just looking for like 4 cent. Usually I'm just trying to get like 4 cent, which I put up like $2,000 collateral to make like 150. 180. I do that on 2 different accounts. I just been kind of rinse and repeat with that.
Yeah. I well, I had to stay in my lane. So I just kind of been working with what you had taught me. And just trying to see it in the charts and um pretty much map this out really good right here. Really,
Mm-hmm.
or whatnot. So all these other stuff, that's you with those sessions, I ain't there yet.
and that's the thing, because right now you're looking at the SPY, right? So the SPY doesn't really show London
Yeah.
and Asian session. So it's really only showing the New York
New York.
open going into, like the middle of the session. If you was like looking at something that had, over hours, like the Forex version or Bitcoin or something like that, then you'll be able to see, those other sessions. Yep. But yeah, the sessions just be, useful. I just like to use them to kind of play high-low strategies a lot of times.
Hmm. Yeah. Let's see what else is out there. Let me see what everybody's been. I went to go see if I could get some more um CPLS, the penny stock in the OTC, but I don't think you can buy it anymore. You have to be locked in, right?
No, I actually got some. I actually got some today.
I tried to do something for our company, but I think that okay. So when I went into Thinkorswim, I think it's a 2-year Ameritrade,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to buy 49,000 worth. So I put it in that, and it had the limit price, and then so I put in a price or whatever. I don't know if it. Let me see if that thing dropped, because I think the price that I put in, that thing had to went up like 0.001%. And so, of course, it was above. I don't know if it dropped to take that order though. I need to check if it took that order because I had put an order in.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me see. 2.209. Let's see. Where did it come back to? Oh, I don't think it did. Yeah. Maybe it did. What time is this? Hold on. Let me see if I can see this. What time of the day is this?
Log in from my.
Expand this a little bit. Oh, maybe it did. It did 0.027. I had put in 0.028.
Mm.
So maybe it took it. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. I don't know if it triggered. I don't know how TD Ameritrade, you know, triggers or not. All right. So when I put it in, I put that trade in, and hopefully it took. Because if it didn't, boy, they're gonna be mad at me. I guess I have to try again tomorrow. I didn't want to delete it. I was gonna try. I was gonna try to delete it or cancel it, and then resubmit. Oh man. Anyways, I thought I had bought. I'm up. I only had like 2,500 though. I should have had a whole bunch like y'all. I had the opportunity. Let me see what's in my darn. Let me see what's in my portfolio doing good or doing something rather, I should say. Um, I got the crypto world. $32. I want to go up. I'm gonna go in and I said while I was gone, when I have downtime, I'd go in and play with my charts and everything. I didn't even oh man, our Moderna, we killing it. Okay, so
Okay.
since they may be going back to the mask, right?
Mm.
Uh I was like, the federal, y'all seen that article? They making the federal take the vaccine if you're a federal employee or VA employee.
Oh yeah, definitely. My girl, she been saying that like that was something that they was gonna do, and they passed that today. And um, one other thing too, I was talking
Okay.
to my homegirl who a doctor, right, and she was
Mhm.
telling me one thing they're not talking about a lot that's gonna be issues is that if you have COVID and you catch the flu at the same time, it's gonna be really bad.
Oh, so you really got to be taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So look, this is Moderna. Today's the 28th, right? The 28th. So
Mhm.
it's continuing on the uptrend. So. Oh, my candle still changed. I was like, what's wrong with these candles? That's what I was about to say. I forgot. I forgot we were traders. Let's see.
Yeah, my bad. I had a quick call.
No problem. I said my candle still
Still got you.
I was about to say what happened to my candles?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I forgot we were doing that trade, and I'm like, something wrong with the winds. They going the wrong way. Oh gosh. Wait a minute. We only changed the candles though, because the volume is still right. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always change them back. It was more just to show you, kind of that demonstration of how you can use that.
So that Mardana, that RSI is pretty high on that. So this is a indecisive, I suspect. Can go either way.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't been watching Moderna yet. It's moving.
Yeah, you see that? Shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, since yesterday. It's just do 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 do. Yep. Take some profits on that bad boy. I'm in the long haul because I'm thinking that that's gonna be one of the vaccines they're gonna keep anyways.
Mm.
But just my opinion, y'all. Don't be listening to me. Um, let's see. What else do I have out there? Now, oh, I seen somebody in the chat. Maybe it was Chris. Chris probably asleep. Making a Johnson options play.
Oh, okay.
It is something with Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, maybe it's based off of that because I know they had that issue with the clotting
Oh,
with their vaccines. So
yeah.
maybe it's looking recovery off of that.
Right. Now there's some earnings. I seen Pfizer beat earnings, but I don't know what. Ooh, yep. Look at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out of that tomorrow.
In the morning.
Yeah, I think it's gonna pull back a little bit. I mean, at the most, I'll hold on to it and see what it does at like 43. If it doesn't, get stronger, I'm gonna just pull out.
Yeah, you see, it's rejecting this price right here.
Yeah.
43.74. So
Yeah.
nice red candle, but
This Euro trade was crazy. Huh? I'm about to get on my
you
computer.
need to share.
Look at can you look at Euro dollar real quick?
Euro dollar. This right.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my chart. Yo, that's Marquise.
Hey.
That ain't me.
but
Marquise
look
did
at
that
it
to
though,
my
right?
chart.
Look at it. It played out perfect though. You see how it wicked down into that order block and took off?
You did. It did.
We had it all mapped out. If you would,
You made money?
Yeah, I haven't traded it not all the way until here. I had got out. I didn't trade that recent wick down. I traded that initial move where it's in that green box.
Right here?
Yeah. Like I traded like that initial move, but I didn't trade that second wick down part all the way to the rest of it,
This was then. Is this a wick?
Yeah, that's a wick. A wick down straight into there.
It's a manipulation, ain't it? Good God.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying they be using those things as reference points. It's like, just be having to, wait for it to line up.
And then it just shot back up.
Mm-hmm. You just got multiple layers of that layer of support of them defending that level. They're kind of showing their hand. They're very interested in defending that level. And then one thing I like about a lot of times on Wednesdays too, you often have kind of like this return back to like Tuesday's support.
Okay. So that would be.
Could you go to a 30-minute? Yeah. And if you take your fib from the bottom of that green candle, that's in that green box, up to the top of there, you'll see that was a nice 618 retracement as well.
You're making you some bucks. I see you make some cups and bucks. I'm gonna kill it, y'all. Okay, let's see. Where them brothers at? They done fell asleep. What they doing?
Yeah, I was gonna say we could crank it up. If people got some questions trying to get something, but if not, I'll probably just get back to studying.
Yeah, what y'all doing out there in these streets? Let's see. Where they at? They probably gone. Brother A.E. Eden and Brandon, Chris, Dondre Shepherd. How you doing? I don't know you.
Dondre. I got a cousin named that.
Dondre, are you there? Or are you just hanging out? Moral support. Brandon, Chris. Well, sounds like they've left the building, Marquise.
Who?
Who
left?
You.
No, I didn't. I was listening.
Marquise said,
I'm here hanging out in for moral support.
you hanging out for moral support?
Yeah, I'm here hanging out in moral support. Got the family with me too, though, so that's why I was on mute.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Y'all got any questions? Y'all got anything I want Marquise to go over?
I was just sucking it up.
Okay, so you
But
learning?
to go over that. Yeah, I'm learning. I'm definitely learning. I've also been going over the daily practices with the technical analysis practice. I've been following that too, just trying to get better with my technical analysis.
Okay. Oh, okay. You've been following my little tools. Yeah, we let's see, Mikey. We try.
Yeah, like hey,
Yeah, definitely following those. Just trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah, it's so do you have Trading View? Yeah, Trading View. Learn how to set up your chart. Always a good idea. Brandon, what you got to contribute?
Yeah, you might have to mute fam. Y'all over there lit.
What's up?
What you got to contribute today? Brandon's is requesting to control your screen. Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
And one thing I was gonna say too, Yoba, is like you see that daily bearish order block as well, the one overhead. You see it went under and hit that one in London session. You see that red box? It went under and hit that one in London session before it hit that bullish one.
Brandon, you trying to share?
Well, no, I just want to ask Marquise a question right quick when it comes to the fib and when he does the credit spreads. Like how does measure? Because I was what's his name? The guy off of Tasty Work. I think he switched over, got his own practice now. I think it's called Project Finance or something.
For real, one of the Tasty Work dudes.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, how do you? I'm not a user Fibonacci, but like, how do you plot out those levels? That's all I want.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. We can. I'm gonna share mine so I can show you. Then we can show yours, and you can just you can do it yourself too.
Hey, Marquise. Also, after you do that, Brother Mathis wants you to cover order block again.
Okay, cool.
Up on the panel, okay. Nobody gonna be reading that chat. I'm telling you right now. I'm about to pack my bag while I listen.
Yeah, I would have to. Let me see. I had a chat. Yeah, it would help if you hopped on, but I think I can put the chat right here.
Make them work for us.
Yeah, it helps a lot better if we can, interact by just, without the delay, communication delay.
I'm here. I'm just packing my suitcase.
All right. So let me share this right here. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So like this is euro dollar. So I mean, you wouldn't necessarily be doing a spread on this, but this can still kind of show you an example of how you could have done this, right? Or how I would say I would run those spreads or the Fibonacci. I can show you both of this in this right here. And really, I really like to trade on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. These are my two favorite days of the week to trade. The best time to enter to get like the weekly bias is within these 3 days. But usually I like to wait for Monday to happen to some type of pullback, and then a Tuesday move, and then sometimes this Tuesday move might happen on Wednesday as far as like a nice pullback. But this is like the whole order block concept right here, and I'm gonna overlay this real quick, show you why I put this order block right there. All right. So right now that just this overlaid a daily candlestick chart, right? These are daily candles that's overlaying these regular candles right here. This is a green candle, red candle, red candle. But I have my candles inverted also. So really it would look like it would look like this. Yeah, it look more like this. Move this real quick. So yeah, so like, you know, this is the daily candle. This is Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this is that Friday. We had this down move on Friday, right? Opened up here, came traded through Asian, London. And if, you know, I don't know if y'all, as far as these colors in the background, like this blue, this red, and this green, these are like the sessions in the background. So like, yeah, we moved into London, came down, New York, moved up here, came down and closed. This was Friday. So, you know, when Monday comes, this right here, this last daily red candle, this is pretty much a daily bullish order block. This is an order block that's going to act as support. And like we did on that last live when we was talking about the order blocks, we can go ahead and draw it out. This is also a daily bearish order block as well, but we're going to focus on this one right here. So when you draw on the order blocks, remember it's that last red candle, you know, before a big up move. So we wouldn't even have taken this trade on a Monday. We would wait for it to kind of, you know, make a move. You actually could have took this one right here, but you know, that's a little you know, you could actually wait for a big retracement like that. So how we draw? Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. Let me answer this call real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad, fam. I actually have to go you know, get my lady real quick. She couldn't find parking close to the house, so I gotta go walk over there with her. So somebody can, you know, I don't know, wanna rock out real quick till I get back. Over Brandon.
Yeah, man, I got you.
All right, cool. I don't know if I need to all right, I'll stop the share real quick. Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right.
But I'm still here listening to you. So if you have questions and stuff, or even if you want to bring it up on your screen, I can still, you know, answer your questions. I'm just walking.
No, I was trying to find the share thing on here. I don't know if you have to send it to me or Mo has to give it to me.
It should be at like the bottom. It should say share content, like a green type of box.
Gotcha. Got it. All right, so I hope I'm sharing this.
Yep, I see.
Okay. So Mo, I don't know if you can see this, but normally this is how I would trade the the SPACs or the OTC. I will actually come in here, go through here first, see if I can find those, see if they come up, see if they're listed. Yeah. So since it's usually closed, or since the market is closed, I don't know if I can be able to show you. But I would normally come in, go to trade, type in the ticker. Open it up. Click buy. Put this out the way. Close that actually. This around. Close that. And I would just buy it normally at the market price. Since it's so dirt cheap already, I mean, I mean, you can price it in at whatever you want to price it in at. Let's say you want to get it for, 1 cent. Sorry about that. I got the mud in the background. Then I would get like X amount of shares. How much you would have left buy for?
So what you're trying to look at how to get in and out of spread right now, or are you just showing people, how how you go through a trade?
No, not a trade, but like, so since Mo was having an issue trying to get into the SPAC, into the SPAC, I'm just showing her how to get into it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't, that helps me too. So I'm listening.
No problem. So yeah, I mean, it's normally the same way that you would get into a normal trade through TD Ameritrade, but I mean, I think for this one, you have to do a little bit more research and find the actual SPAC before it merges over to the new OTC. So for instance, when everybody went in on, was it Capsun or whatever? Yeah, Cap Solution. It was, what was it? I think it was SENY. And when I got it through here, it changed over as well. So I really didn't add any more shares until it converted over. So my first initial shares was the SENY. I think I got a couple shares in that, probably $4 or $5 worth. And then when it converted over to the new Capsun, I added a couple more dollars into it. So I don't know if you listen, Mo, but that's how I would normally find these the SPACs through TD Ameritrade. And then obviously you want to confirm, make sure everything's right. Let's spend $45 for X amount of shares, which is 3,000. What's this option? No, this is regular. Yeah, this is a regular trade. Then you would hit send your order, send the order through. And it'll tell you if it got rejected or if it got accepted. So since the market being closed right now, everything's gonna get rejected. So some little quick, little easy tutorial about that. Let's just get back.
Brandon, you on mute.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah, I had to take the dog out a little bit. We'll give it back to you, or did you see I got the spec or no?
Say it again, Brandon.
Did you see how I did the spec thing for you or no?
No, because my nephew had shut off my Zoom. I just logged back in and I seen the screen moving, but I ain't hear nobody talking.
Oh,
You were on mute the whole time.
like a dummy.
Nah, just a mistake.
Yeah. So go to Thinkorswim, type in the spec. I think what's the spec again? What's the spec? That's another thing I gotta ask OBE, man. Like, how do you just manage to have these in order? What was it, Mosi?
Oh, it's, SPAC.
You said SP?
SPAC.
No. The name of the spec that we're in right now.
Oh,
Capstone.
CPSL.
CPS. CPS.
What you sharing a different screen?
Oh, so this is Thinkorswim.
Oh, what? Wait, the screen you in right? Which screen we looking at right now is TraderView.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. How about now?
Yeah. And you put in SP.
SPS.
SL. There it is. The top one.
This one.
Yeah. You got it in paper trade.
Yeah. No, it's not it. Now I want to act slow. Okay.
Was that not coming up?
It's coming up. I just got to there it is. So normally you go to trade. I just went to most recent.
Okay, you break. Oh, that's right. Okay. What's it doing?
You still see it?
Oh, you trying? It don't have options. You got the options grid open.
No. I was showing you how I would find a spec. Like I would go through here first.
Oh,
and I
okay.
would look here and make sure the price was right.
Oh.
Even though it shows it right here, but I like to check here too.
So you saying you go to Thinkorswim to look up other specs?
Yeah, the specs. Because normally, I mean.
Well, you put it in there. Oh,
right
you
here.
already had the ticker.
Yeah, so you can take it out, put it in right here. It comes up.
Y'all posted a couple today.
Did it go through for you though?
Oh, what? It's on the company. It's on the company account. I have to check.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't my personal one.
Is your company account on Thinkorswim or is it something else?
It's on TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't open that one up. It got big dollars in it.
Oh snap!
It made 19K on Moderna.
Company trade
Huh?
through your company or you?
Company.
Gotcha.
No, I'm up pretty good though. My coworker, he made 3K. Cause we got in it COVID. So at that $28 mark. Yeah, my Moderna, this is for my Moderna, I'm up $649.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, I got in it in March.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's when I was scared to put money into it. I just left it like that. My stash is doing so well. My stash, I'm almost profiting more just as much as I put in it.
There you go.
Which was my goal. Was to be profiting. What you looking at? That's Moderna?
Yeah, that's Moderna right there.
Yeah, see, I got in at in March 28th to be exact, I think it was. What's this? You on the yearly? What's that?
Yeah, that was it. And that's the thing. I'm sorry about this. I should have had this fixed, but I don't have my my time set up. Well, not my time, but like
You
my
see,
dates.
y'all get all savvy. I gotta follow this. 19, 20. I knew you was holding that Brandon on your little knowledge.
What's this?
That's December.
You said what? December.
Yeah, come back 2020. Yeah, you gotta back it up some more.
Studies. No, it's not studies. It's
You pretty savvy.
try to be.
Ooh, y'all done made me hungry.
You said 20.
2020. 2020 March 28th. See, you're about right there, up in that point. When it was like $28.
Got to be here somewhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
not better.
Mm-hmm.
Better.
What's that big long red candle?
So,
See, it's February. Yeah, I got it somewhere over there. So look what it's done since then. Just uptrend. Pull back a little bit. Uptrend, pull back. Up, pull.
Right. This is the $100 range now. No, I was here, let me show this to you right quick. And I think Marquise is back. I'm gonna go ahead and give it back to him. Unless Oba want to take over right quick. But let me show this to you. So when you do get ready to trade or you want to buy some of the capsule,
yeah, show me that.
You left click. I don't know if you can still click or not. You got a mouse?
Yeah.
And hover over it, left click, hit buy.
Yeah, it did that, right?
Yeah.
I put the quantity, I put 49,000 right there.
49.
Yeah. And it didn't have you see where you got price? Mine didn't have price right there. It was blank and it had limit. So I did 0.0298.
0.0298.
Last time I took at it, that's what I did. And it was just sitting there waiting.
Okay, so you set a limit.
Yeah.
Is this a replay?
No, it ain't no replay.
My fault, man.
No, I was
No,
saying, no, I was saying like, because I know that don't they have a feature to where you can like
Retrace.
rewind and yeah,
Yeah.
well, like play. You can go back to a certain time when the market's open and kind of
Yeah.
they
do
do.
that.
I gotta find it. It's
You
on here
can.
somewhere.
That's one of the things that honestly I need to add to my toolkit that I haven't used enough. Like I just do regular like going back and looking back testing as opposed to going back in a random day in history and then testing the
Yeah.
strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had it was blank branded the price. So I put it in there and
Uh-huh.
I had and I just waited. Let me see if it went through. Hold on. Let me check
I'm
my
surprised it
phone.
didn't fail because what did
It
it do
did
today?
drop, ain't it?
Yeah, it did drop. Because normally with a limit, that's the most you're willing to pay for actual. You know,
Yeah.
what did it say? Did it say was it
It,
filled or no?
it was just sitting there.
You didn't get like no type of notification.
Let me check.
See, like the one I did for iFan, it'll say um, your order got rejected or something like that.
What's iFin? That's a new one?
Well, that's a IPO that's supposed to be merging with PlayX.
Okay.
So if I hit submit, I mean, I normally do market orders for these, just to know I can get in quickly.
Well then I don't know why I didn't do that. I don't know why I didn't click. I don't know what was going on at the time. Um I'm about to log on now. Let me see if I can find it.
I know they got a playback on this, where you can play your whole day back from like market open to market close.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm trying to. Oh, I know what it is. I was about to say, oh God, I lost my password already. I just did this. Let me see. Oh, I have the worst time. Let me see if I got it right now.
All right.
Okay, Monica. Hopefully this is it. Knock myself out. Okay, yeah. All right, let me check it. Let me see if it went through. I'm in the account. Let me check my positions. I haven't been in this thing in a minute. Oh, it took it at 0.0295.
Okay. There you go.
So shoot, we up Moderna some more, then went up another 1,000 and some change. So I'm talking about. Qualcomm. I seen that was doing something. Yeah, they got big play on Moderna is our biggest S. Who is this right here? AstraZeneca. No. Bingo. Oh yeah, we got that real cheap. We got quite a few things. All right. You know, it moved with the SPY, so.
Let me get this back to somebody.
All right, y'all. It's like it's almost 12, so we might as well shut it down. Everybody kind of occupied.
You still got to pack.
Yeah, man, my flight, I didn't realize this time just got away from me. My flight is at 5. I didn't even realize it. Oh my God. I'm in
4
trouble.
a.m.
Yes, that mean good thing I'm 10 minutes from the airport, no traffic.
Don't tell me you'll get some sleep.
I'm right. Yeah, I'm gonna I'll probably sleep until like 2.
Yeah, I just got back myself. I would say probably better if we crank this up tomorrow. I was thinking about maybe just like being live tomorrow, like at least sending y'all a Zoom link, and I might just like execute
That's cool.
a trade, execute a one of those
Forex.
spreads.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. That would be great. Yeah, send me that. I'll be available because I get to Tampa at 9:30 in the morning. So I probably won't get to my hotel like 10:30, and then I don't really got nothing. I just gotta register and chill till everybody get there. Then
Yeah.
I get in there till the evening.
Cause that's how I feel too. Like I feel like, man, at least if we can, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm in a part of you know what I'm saying, other trade groups and stuff too. Like we be trading live around that time. And I feel like us with, you know, the types of people we got here, we could come up and trade like some of these spreads and just, you know, for sure get everybody a little $100, $200, you know what I'm saying, every other day. Bro,
Shoot,
that's what I be thinking.
Put me down.
That's how I be thinking, you know, because that's what we be doing. You know, that's how I've done that with, you know, my other trade groups and stuff. That's exactly what we be doing, you know. So at least, especially to show people, you know, that's up to you if you know, because you're doing your own. Whoever doing they doing their own analysis as well. But we just like coming together and say, okay, this is how I'm looking at the market, you know, right now, and this is a strategy I'm doing. You know.
Okay, but let me know.
You're kind of sharing.
Let me put the link in, and I'm coming in.
I'm right behind Monique. Right behind Monique.
Yeah, for sure. We would do it. What's tomorrow? Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I want to see that live. All right,
Yeah,
y'all. Peace, power, and profit.
All right, peace, power, and profit, y'all.